Come on now, more margarita.
It's me, Lauren. I'm doing something a little bit different than I usually do than my original content. I'm doing a movie review on the movie Tusk. I know it came out in 2014, but I only recently watched it now. What the fuck? Really, that's what I thought. It was a really good film, but you do be thinking that when you're actually watching it. But Justin Long and a few other actors in it. But basically, he's a podcaster, and he goes around and he gets stories and everything and all. He just takes the piss out of everything and everyone who's on the internet, and he's supposed to meet this guy who done this Kill Bill kind of video, and in a result of him doing the video, messing with a machete, his leg gets chopped off, and everybody's taking the piss out of him on the internet and everything and all. And they had it on the podcast and they were chatting about it and everything. So the child contacts him to talk to him for the podcast. So he flies out to talk to this person, and something happens to the person. Basically turns up and he was dead. He'd killed himself. And so he thinks he's sitting there in a bar and he's thinking that his trip is a total fucking bust. So he goes into the bathroom and finds like a note for like a living arrangement, but the house, there's an old man living in the house for the living arrangement, and he left a note there in the bar. Basically just says that he's an old man and he lives in a really big house and he's got tons of stories to tell and everything. Ring if you're interested in the living arrangement. So he's more interested in him and the stories and everything and what he has to tell. So he tells him that over the phone and drives out to his house. Now, soon as he steps in the door, you see this. He looks like a fragile old man in a wheelchair, but there was just something fucking really creepy about him. Like when your parents were warning you about stranger danger, like Howard was the name of the man. He would have been in that fucking category of creeps, of like a fucking creep. He wasn't like that kind of creep, but he was still a fucking mentaler. But anyway, they're there chatting, he's there telling them stories and everything, and he offers them a cup of tea. Sure, takes the cup of tea, and then he drinks it, and then he's there kind of still joking with him, laughing, and you can tell shit's gonna go down because he's like this in the chair, fucking spinning. So eventually after a while he passes out, and he falls down out of the chair. He comes flying out of the chair where he was sitting and goes onto the ground, and Howard's just sitting there in his wheelchair looking at him going, "It'll be alright, Mr. Tusk." And I'm just there thinking, what the fuck, this guy is fucked in the head, like he's crazy. So anyway, he wakes up the next day and he's on like a lot of anesthetics and everything, and he's wondering, what the hell, like, why am I in kind of so much pain and what happened? And he told him that there was an incident with a spider, and that to save his life from all the venom going through his bloodstream, he had to get his leg amputated. So he obviously pulls the blanket back that he had over him and looks down and was like, seriously? But there's this one fucking scene where they're at the dinner table and he's there questioning him about the spider and his leg having been amputated and everything, and he's like on the verge of like nearly crying, and then Walter is like, "Oh, it's just an average spider, blah blah blah," all this kind of thing, and he turns around and goes, "You could even call it itsy bitsy and all," and he starts fucking singing Itsy Bitsy Spider in like a real fucking creepy way and everything, and then Justin starts to scream for help. Justin Long's character starts to scream for help. His character's name was Wallace, so he starts to scream for help, and then fucking Michael Parks' character starts copying him and screaming at the top of his lungs, acting like a total fucking mental case. But he turns around and tells him that he's working on a walrus costume. I know. tells him that he's working on a realistic walrus costume for him to wear. So, eventually, he cuts off his other leg and he sews him into a walrus costume made out of human skin. Yeah. And he uses his leg bones, shin bones, and he carves them into walrus teeth, drills a hole up into his skull, and puts the bones into a skull. So he'd have walrus tusks. And it's just fucking hell, like. But it's it's still a really good film though. But and there's this one bit where he has him like in a little kind of pool kind of thing. And like the only thing that really kind of annoyed me though is that you didn't get to see Justin Long's reaction. Like you didn't get to see him waking up and then reacting to the fact that he'd been sewn into a walrus costume. So he basically cut off his two legs, like I said. He sewed his arms up kind of like this. Yeah. And then sewed him into the costume that was made out of loads of people and everything. So he has a chain then on the tail of the costume and he pulls him into the water and says, now you have to swim like a walrus. And he said to him basically as well that when he was in the walrus suit and when he was in the costume, he had to behave like a walrus. There was no talking like a person, no talking like a human, and all that kind of shit and all. But he was fucking crazy. The guy that was in the movie Sixth Sense when he was a child, Haley Joel Osment, was also in this, and he was just the other podcaster for they were called Nazi Party, but it's not spelled like Nazi. It's not and then C, like, and it's put together. So that was their podcast thing, and his girlfriend kind of starts getting worried. No phone calls from him and all that kind of thing. So she goes out to look for him and everything, and there was this French cop, and he had been trying to track down these cases of like people with missing legs and all that kind of thing, and then stuff being drilled up into the teeth being drilled up into the head and everything, and he could never catch the person. So he helps them out to find Justin Long, to find out what's after happening to him. He left the voicemail on Teddy's phone, which was Haley Joel Osment played Teddy. He left the voicemail on his phone basically saying, look, I've been kidnapped by a fucking mental case. He wants to turn me into some kind of like fucking animal and stuff. So they only had that to go on. So they found out then that he was in Bifrost and stuff and everything, where the house was. And they eventually find him. And I thought the ending there was pretty sad. They didn't actually like put him into surgery to get the suit or anything taken off him. They just left him the way it was, and he lived as a walrus for the rest of his life. Now I would fucking hate that. I really would. Like, and then your man is just fucking. Your man Howard is like, he was there saying that he was crying about his humanity and stuff and all. Why the hell would you want to be human? I'd rather be human than be sewn into a big fucking walrus costume for the rest of my life. Like, but it was a really good film, and the film now has mixed reviews. There's a lot of people that don't like it, and there's a lot of people that do like it. I'm in the category of people that did enjoy the film and everything, but I thought it was really good and everything. And I'm going to be sure to watch some more of Kevin Smith's movies. If you enjoyed this video, guys, my little movie review of Tusk, then don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.